Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coaching Showdown, the series where I coach 5 low-ranked players and have them race against each other on the solo queue ladder. They have 4 weeks to get as far as they can with weekly sessions and challenges designed to test their understanding. The competition is fierce, but only one player will rise above and claim their spot as Showdown victor.
Pentakill!
Last week on Coaching Showdown, we covered the fundamentals and our participants competed in our first challenge ever. The Ancient Path came out on top and secured himself an additional 33 points on the ladder. Since then, the contestants have played a grand total of 187 games. Here's a snapshot of their scores leading into week 2. How do you feel about your ranked performance on week 1?
So overall, I feel pretty good. I feel that games went pretty well as could be expected. I'm pleased with the initial placement and results. I think that also my farm improved noticeably, and I'm looking forward to incorporating future weeks' lessons and continuing to climb.
All right, fantastic. Thank you.
My week 1 games are pretty standard, most of my losses being, jungle diff. I won 90% of my laning phases simply because I was better at CSing, which can be attributed to practicing CSing. Every night before I go to sleep, I try to be first place, and so far my biggest competition has been Genitalia. But I think Ancient Path might start playing more, so he might be a competitor as well.
Week 1 performance went well. I'm not very pleased with how many games I played. I got sick and then my wife got sick, so it was just a busy week. However, I was able to apply a lot of the things we learned in the lectures last week. This focusing on the CSing rather than LP, though it seems small, was super helpful. And as well as just trying to have things to focus on in the game rather than simply winning or losing has been super helpful.
I've gotten better at recall timers and CSing. I went on a big losing streak, which was a bit demoralizing. I find mostly that I've had issues with my enemy lane roaming. Otherwise, I feel pretty good about week 2.
I find I'm doing pretty well, but it feels like my team typically lets me down. I think I just need to do much better, especially in comparison to the other contestants.
You are currently 5th place on the leaderboard, which once again is kind of irrelevant because over a large sample size, that improvement will begin to show more often.
I've still just been heavily focusing on CS. For week 2, I want to work more on the trades and carrying a little bit harder. Week 2, I'm hoping to not average being on the bottom of the leaderboard.
But we're going to go ahead and run it back, and we're going to talk about jungle tracking from this point onwards and how it affects your decisions as a mid laner. And the general concept to jungle is that there is a strong side of the map and there's a weak side of the map. Does anybody have a general idea of what these mean?
It's like the side that, like the strong side is the side that's getting the ganks and the resources to get them ahead, and the weak side is kind of like,
Think of the dregs.
do what you can.
Essentially the side that the jungler prioritizes.
The weak side is my side.
That's correct. So the strong side of the map is the lane that you're trying to enable, and the weak side is the lane that you're kind of giving up. Now, sometimes both jungles prioritize the same side of the map, right? And then at that point, it just becomes a 1v1 up here, and whoever wins, wins, and that's why you see your top lane go 0 and 10, because they're by themselves. So understanding how strong side, weak side helps because you're kind of thinking about what your team's trying to enable. Because if we're playing for bot side, is it more likely that we're going to do something like Dragon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it more likely that skirmishes will happen in this river?
Yes.
So in that case, would I be warding this side of the map or would I be warding this side of the map?
Outside.
For the most part, bottom. We'd try to protect them, right? Because if I place a ward here, it protects my bot side from an invade, but also from a roam here. But we can further classify jungle champions into a specific genre, if you will. I like to refer to these as 3 camps, 5 camps, 6 camps. And this basically just refers to the amount of camps that they do before ganking. So can anybody tell me an example of a 3 camp champion?
Noobs.
Listen.
Okay, so for the most part, so every champion is capable of ganking after 3 camps for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the most often we think of when we think about 3 camps is Kindred. We think about J4. We think about Elise. These are all champions that hit level 3 and then immediately want to impact the map. So this is considered optimal for them because their goal is to snowball. Now, if we're referring to champions that are 5 or 6 camps, they're still capable of ganking at 3 camps. It's just that they prefer this because it is more optimal for them. So champions that want to get XP or progress their levels would be something like Fiddlesticks, right?
Right.
Something like Kayn. Champions that are a little bit slower to hitting their spike, and they just need to get those gold or experience, and they're not able to gank that well early just because their champion has limitations, but it doesn't mean that they're not capable of ganking, right? Like a Fiddlesticks can still flash in the mid lane and Q, it's just not optimal for him to waste time on something that might not work out. So if we can classify that, what do we think Master Yi is?
I mean, ideally he's a farmer.
I feel
Ideally.
like, yeah, 6, 5.
I thought it was 6.
So it's 5 or 6. So if he skips a camp, it's so that he can get to a lane faster. If he slows down, it's so he can farm more. But he generally wants to hit item spikes, and he wants to just get to a point where he's unstoppable, right? To do that, he just needs gold and experience. There's no reason for him to gank. Is he capable of ganking after 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single jungle in the game is capable of ganking after 3 camps. It's just a conscious decision not to. This is the preference. It's just whatever is optimal based on the champion that they're playing. Because if they do that gank and it doesn't work, are they delaying their own level? Their own resources? For the most part, yes. Now we think about Maokai. What would you think he is?
3?
For the most part, yes.
3, yeah.
I'd say more often than not, he is 3 to 5. Because his goal is to just literally go into a lane, flash W, get a kill, rinse and repeat, right? So if we can identify the way that they're trying to play, does it help me with preventing myself from dying mid lane?
Yes.
Because if I know that somebody's looking to gank at level 3, I might think about when they can do that or how they can do it. So more often than not, people will finish the 3rd camp at 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and we'll go ahead and watch the natural clock and when they finish 3 camps. So because they're both starting bot side, you can naturally assume that they're going to head towards the 2nd buff, which is towards top. Depending on the way they clear, they could obviously change it up. But like if Maokai goes into bot side here, and he runs all the way here, and then something doesn't happen, how much distance does he have to run to get back to top side?
Pretty far.
Pretty far, so it slows down his clear if something doesn't happen when he goes for that gank. So depending the order on which they do their camps, they could try to prioritize a gank or not. This game we see Maokai is going to do red into Raptors. And as a result of this, this means he has flexibility in the fact that he could just go into top from there, or he can go into Krugs into bot lane. Because if he does red Krugs Raptors, and then runs bottom, he's wasting time because he could have already gone to Krugs first, and then ganked. It's just a little bit of efficiency.
Could I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What is there any are there combinations of 3 camps that will give the jungler level 3 and combinations that won't, or is it just any 3 camps?
The only 3 camp that does not give level 3 is red or blue and 2 small camps. So if you do wolves and raptors, you do not hit level 3.
Okay.
So
So if you do
go ahead.
any other of the 3 camps.
So if we do red raptors Krugs, level 3. If we do red blue Gromp, level 3. If we do blue Gromp wolves, we hit level 3.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
These small camps give less experience, so if you see somebody go to raptors with only red buff, 4 CS, and they do wolves after that, they won't hit level 3, and you could actually just invade if your jungler's paying attention.
You can get on their blue.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Master Yi is also starting blue, pathing towards top side most likely, because his optimal clear is 5 to 6. If they both path towards top side, that's where you consider that a Scuttle Crab fight might happen at 3:30. And that's when you need to decide, do I need priority or not? Because if I'm not fighting for crab, if each jungle is going to a different crab, does it matter if I can move mid?
I mean, not really. You're not going to leave lane to go fight the jungler over a crab by yourself.
Exactly. So there's no reason to move, so in that case, why not just keep the lane in a safe spot for myself? So, first gank timer that you can consider is 220, because that's when they finish 3 camps. Second timer that you can consider is 3 minutes. This is before Scuttle spawns, and then 3:30 is after Scuttle's spawned. Because after they kill Crab, and they've done all their camps, their only option is to go mid or side lane. So if you die to a Scuttle Crab timer after 3:30, it's really bad. Like, it's really, really bad because it's so avoidable. If you die before 3:30, it's because the jungler has nothing to do before this crab spawns. So if you know what side of the map they're pathing to, like if we know that Master Yi is going to be here at 3 minutes, Akali just has to either put a ward up here or just not be in a position to get ganked at 3 minutes. So we'll go ahead and watch the junglers. We'll see the natural progression. And what time did we say they finished their 3 camps?
220.
220.
Okay, so some champions are faster, some champions are slower, but both of these champions, for the most part, finished around 220 to 225, right? So if their goal was to gank as early as possible, 220 is kind of the time frame that we're looking for. Is Maokai in a really good spot to gank here?
Yes.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Draven did it for him. Cool.
Okay,
Wow.
cool. So bot side naturally won this without doing anything at all. And then we take a look at our Master Yi. He's farming Raptors, pathing towards topside. So is Orianna right now. Do I need to be pushed up?
No.
No.
We don't need to be, but am I going to get punished for this?
No.
Most often, no. For the most part, no, because we put down a defensive ward like this, right? Now, the issue with this ward is because it's against the wall, is it giving me vision right here?
No.
No, so this is a good idea if it's a little further out to get that extra vision. But as long as I have this ward, it doesn't matter how aggressive I'm playing. But what happens if I don't have a ward here? Can I still play the same way?
Absolutely not.
No, because he can
Because-
just roll up on you.
Yeah, because we just don't have the information to work with. But as long as I have this information, and we do have a ward here, I should not ever get ganked. But priority is meaningless if you're not able to do anything with it. Because the only thing that you're doing is putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Sometimes pushing into enemy tower is good. You've ever played against a Caitlyn Lux that just keeps you under tower and then pokes you forever? Sometimes that's acceptable. But if you're going to die 7 times to a gank trying to do that, just don't do it. So here, we're pretty much getting zoned off the wave because we have to respect the fact that Maokai did a 3 camp into mid lane. And this may seem really bad from a mid laner's perspective, just because, like, we can't approach the wave. But, like, how far behind is Maokai right now?
There's a whole camp behind.
He's
Almost
several
2.
camps behind. He's
Yeah.
he-
Now, can
he's
anybody
done
tell me the
nothing since he
problem?
finished his third camp.
Can anybody tell me the problem with League of Legends? Why does this not matter?
Because he's an alt bot, and as long as he
Comeback
gets his
mechanic?
ult, he's useful.
Pretty much. So, regardless of how good or how bad junglers are, it really doesn't matter how good they are at clearing, because at the end of the day, they will be the same level no matter what, because Riot has designed a system that makes it impossible to lose as a jungler. So this guy can be down 2 camps, and it will mean absolutely nothing. Now, the good news is Master Yi getting more gold?
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's like the only tangible benefit. He might be a level up, but it will be like for 30 seconds, and it won't matter. So, we lose a bit. Maokai's theoretically behind, but because due to jungle mechanics, it's really not that bad, because they won bot side. But now that we know where Maokai is as a mid laner, do I have an overwhelming advantage?
Yes.
I feel like no.
Well, I should be, because I have more range, right?
Mhm.
Right. Sorry, I just meant because she's level 3 and you're on her side. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so this is technically a bad position for us, because Taric could roam into mid lane after that reset. But as long as I have a range advantage, I can fix this wave state and then force it to come back to me, and then I can just hold a freeze forever. Because right now, if Master Yi does Krogs into Raptor or into Scuttle Crab, and I have the wave over here, we can at least force a gank onto Akali. Now, we know that there's a ward there, so it's probably not going to happen. We take a bad trade, things go a little bit haywire. But the win con for the red side of the map is to have a scaling topside and then play through the Draven Nautilus, which we kind of failed to do. And this is partially because we picked fucking Master Yi. So,
Yeah.
if this were any other champion, and then we fought 3, or he didn't kill himself under tower, game would be completely different. But more often than not, you'll get an ADC that egos your entire team, kills himself under tower at level 1, and then says, why didn't my jungle path to bot side? You lost lane before the jungle even finished the second camp. Shut the fuck up.
That's the sanest.
Are you in my game?
Sanest Draven player. Least toxic.
Yeah, but Akali's forced to move into red side now, and then you see Nautilus playing for a roam here. So Akali isn't able to express herself as freely as she'd like, but we've run out a lot of mana because we've wasted skills and all that. And up here in the top side, he's just continuing the farm. Now, really cool thing to remember is that if jungle champs are full clearing, so like 330, we now know the crab spawned. This camp that he finished around 2 minutes is going to spawn anywhere from 4 to 410. So if somebody's full clearing and you know for a fact they're full clearing, you can basically tell that they're going to reset and go back to the first camp they completed. So if I'm a bot laner, it's pretty much never acceptable to die to this timer because that's when they naturally reset back into my side of the map, if we leashed bot side. So vice versa, if the jungler started top side and did Krug's second, then he would naturally end up back here at 4 minutes. So you should not ever get ganked before 4 minutes and die unless you're trolling. That's something to keep in mind. But you can see there's a very big difference between people who commit to a 3-camp style, 5-camp style, 6-camp style. And it's a lot easier to follow these things through in the first 10 minutes of the game, but after a certain part, you just begin to lose track of what camps are being done, where the jungler is, and then these pockets start to form. And it's not realistic to know where somebody is all the time, unless you have vision, which is why vision is so important to get, so that you can basically work off those opportunities. Because if I see that Master Yi is right here on this ward, does that enable me to play aggressively bot side?
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So getting vision and then getting information on where the jungle is and then playing based off that. But as a mid laner here, I didn't need priority. If I kept the wave here, I at least enable a gank from my Nautilus or my Master Yi. And we do get a gank here. And it's just because we bounced the wave. We had a timer from either support or jungle. And what is the mistake that Nautilus committed here?
He walked in, he could have just autoed?
Yeah, so skill sequencing. So there's this much distance between Akali and the tower. Do we need to engage with the 50-50 hook?
No.
Because once we miss the hook, is there a way to commit to Akali?
Nope.
No.
No. So the moment we led with Q, we lost. Had we autoed first, even if she flashes, we can follow with Q and whatnot. But the skill sequencing is incorrect here. We do get a lot of pressure here for free and whatnot. But overall, first 4 minutes of League of Legends, very standard. So we're going to do one more example of a game. Does anybody here want to volunteer themselves?
Today's challenge is King of the Jungle. The map will be split into 4 sections. Every 30 seconds, you'll be asked to select a number representing one of these 4 sections, or a location like mid lane, bot, river, or base. Buffs will count as both quadrants. Your goal is to accurately track where the enemy jungler is for the first 15 minutes of the game using only blue POV information and your understanding of today's lecture material. Best of luck in today's challenge.
This portion is an interactive quiz for you, the viewer. Do your best to accurately track the enemy jungle and see if you're better than our participants when we announce the results. There's going to be a 10-second timer before the correct answer is revealed, so just go ahead and keep track of your own scores. There is a total of 27 questions. %90 of you are going to get this first one wrong, so I'm going to outright tell you that it is a leashless raptor start. How do you feel about that challenge, Ancient Path?
I felt like I just went and took a test that I didn't study for. I just feel sick. I don't even know how I did yet. I just know I did not do well. What I saw made no sense compared to what I should have expected.
Genitalia, how do you think you did on that challenge?
Not gonna lie to you, that was a little tough. I think I misjudged her early game because I thought she invaded topside, and it appeared that she did not. It got easier as it went on, and actually a very good exercise. It's something I need to improve on and think about a lot more.
How do you feel about that challenge?
That was really the challenge is really confusing. It's hard to keep track when you're in the dark, and some players might be unpredictable, so it's a lot of knowledge to retain.
What do you think about that challenge, Nikki?
It's pretty fun.
You think you did well?
I think so, at least for the first part.
I honestly think I did pretty well, but it was a bit confusing because Lilia seemed to be very slow at clearing. Because when Talon invaded in the early game, we saw that like blue buff was still up. Like other than that, I feel like I figured out how she was jungling pretty quickly. I think I did well, not completely confident.
Once again, you guys have done a absolutely amazing job. That is something that's actually quite difficult for most high elo players to do, is consistently track where players are. Obviously, you're not diverting your attention as much as a player in the middle of a game, but it is a necessary skill to understand where people are heading, where people are, and how to play around it. This individual got 22 out of 27 correct. The individual who is going to be first place for this challenge is the real Jiff. The person in second place with 20 out of 27 correct is going to be Genitalia. The person in third with a whopping score of 19, only one behind Genitalia, is going to be Nikki. Congratulations. The individual in fourth with a score of 15 is going to be Ancient Path, and only trailing 1 point behind Ancient Path is going to be Mai with 14. So the winner of this challenge is going to be the real Jiff. Congratulations.
Woot woot.
Now the prize for this one is a little bit unconventional, but you will be allowed to duo queue 5 games that will count towards your official score.
Oh my god.
Now if you don't actually have someone to duo with, good luck, you're fucked, but that is your advantage. Jiff, how does it feel to come first place in this jungle tracking challenge?
It feels absolutely amazing. I was a bit nervous because Lilia was doing some weird stuff. It seems like I was right.
Alright, fantastic, and congratulations on your success. Do you already have a duo partner in mind?
I do. He's my sweet mate.
Genitalia, how does it feel to come second in the jungle tracking challenge?
I obviously would have loved to go first. Don't really care about the advantage. I don't like duo, but Would have been great to be first, but second was a stronger showing than I anticipated. Looking forward to reviewing what I messed up and where I kind of lost track of her, though.
Nikki, congratulations on third. How does it feel after that jungle tracking challenge?
It feels pretty good. I didn't expect to come in the top 3.
Peach and Path, how did you feel about the jungle tracking challenge we just had?
I hated the challenge. I was so confused whenever Talon was in at their blue and she wasn't there. I just absolutely got lost in the sauce and I could not find her until she reappeared on the map. It's kind of a knockdown. I wish I'd done better. I was hoping everyone else did worse, so that's all I really had.
Mai, how did you feel about the jungle tracking challenge we just had?
I'm molding. The results were exactly where I was hoping to not be, but I was. So we're brooding, we're molding. It's okay. We take in this failure.